Good morning, Kiani Rogers and Mrs. Rogers.
Hi, hi Miss Bowler. So now I'm interviewing my mum. So we're gonna do 5 questions like we did with Tony. Okay, here
Yes.
we go. What were your daily lives like?
When I was growing up and I was your age, we just did all the normal things that you do. We'd get up and go to school, and after school we had chores and we had homework to do, and then we had dinner when when Nana and Granddad got home from work, and then we went to bed just like you guys did normally.
And then what were your daily lives like without like internet, like what I have right now, and like
So
recording?
when we wanted to have fun, we'd go and play with our brothers and sisters, and we would go outside and play with our neighbours and friends like that on the weekends, or after school generally it was homework stuff and chores. So there wasn't a lot of time to play after school because you had to go and look through books to do homework and ask your parents things if you needed help. We didn't have laptops to search stuff on the internet or phones that you can look up stuff on the internet with. We had to go and get books out on the floor and have a look at stuff in books.
Okay. So that was number 1. Number 2, how did you connect with family and friends?
That was really simple. In the morning, we'd get up and we'd all have breakfast together as a family, and then we'd go to school and Nana and Granddad would go to work. And then after school, we'd all sit down at dinner time at the table, at the dining room table, and we'd all have dinner together. And we might watch something on TV together. And then on the weekends, if we were playing sports, we'd all go to sports together, or we'd go once a week, we'd go to our grandparents' house, and all of our aunts and uncles would come with us, and our cousins would be there, and we'd have dinner with one of our grandparents, either on Grandma Nana's side or on Tupu's side. So we'd get together like that, and we'd have family gatherings on the weekends.
Okay. Number 3, how did you do your schoolwork?
We had books and pens and pencils, and we had the school library. So if you wanted to learn anything, you could take books out of the library, or you could go to the library at school and do things at the library. Or if we had encyclopedias at home, we'd study stuff at home with books, and we'd have pens and workbooks,
Okay.
exercise books.
Number 4, how did you learn about and applying for jobs?
When you get to Form 5 or year 11 or year 12, you used to have different programs for some of the boys in our school. They would go and do trade things like woodwork and metalwork and things like that. And sometimes the girls would go to do typing or sewing or cooking. And your teachers would help you put together a resume or a CV, and you would type it out on old-fashioned typewriters, and you'd make a letter, and you'd have to deliver that letter to a workplace that had a job advertised in the newspaper. You'd have to read the newspapers for jobs, and you'd have to drop off your letter, and then they'd ring you on the phone at home, attached to the wall, plugged in, and set up an interview, and then you'd have to drive to that place or catch a bus to that place and go and have an interview, and then they'd ring you if you got the job, and if you didn't get the job, they might send a letter saying, sorry, you didn't get the job. Posting in the mail.
So, mail. Okay.
Yeah, in the mail.
This is the last question.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you. Looking back, what were some of the benefits/drawbacks of not having this kind of technology we have today?
I think the biggest benefit for us was we always got to spend time with our family and our friends. So we would play with our brothers and sisters. We would see our cousins and our aunts and our uncles and our grandparents a lot more. We would play with all the neighbourhood kids on the weekends. And it was nice not to have to be bothered to pick up a phone every 5 minutes or every 2 minutes and look at something on Facebook or make sure we checked in on Snapchat or any of that stuff. And it was just a nicer, fun way to grow up as kids. And our parents could stay at home on the weekends. They didn't have to go to work 7 days a week, and it was just nice to be able to spend time with them. And some of the drawbacks are, if you were ever lost out somewhere in the boondocks, you'd have to drive somewhere or walk somewhere to get help. You couldn't just get on your phone and ring someone for help if you ran out of gas or something like that. And if you were in an emergency, you had to try your best to manage until help came, or someone walked to get help if you didn't have a phone to ring for emergencies. But it was a nicer, simpler way of life, and I think that was always going to be a good benefit.
Well, thank you, Mum.
Thank you, Kiani.
And thank you, Miss Bowler, for watching my mum and Tony and